Guys, welcome to Late Night with Evs. This is episode 2. And for this one, I was thinking about what kind of guest I want to bring on. I thought, let me bring on my brother, someone that I've known for X amount of years. Doesn't need an introduction. If you know him, you know me. If you know me, you know him. Um, there's one thing that's very important as well, by the way. This is Late Night with Evs. So make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you've sorted out everything in the house. You cleaned the dishes. You got the house ready, the bed set. Do you feel me? A cup of tea, preferably Somali tea, because that's all I rock with. If you're on a no sugar, if you're on a no sugar diet, black coffee's all right as well. But listen, this is Late Night with Evs. This is a bit different, this kind of podcast. You feel me? And hopefully, from the conversations that we have, you'll understand that. Without further ado, my brother Arms, welcome to Late Night with Evs, bro. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. How are
Wa
you?
alaikum salam. So you know what's crazy? Just before we even kind of get into it, this is the first time me and you have done content together with just us two.
Yeah, bro.
So we've done
It's about
figuring it out.
time.
Yeah, bro, it's about time. Like, if anything, I think on my content journey, it was always gonna like naturally should have been me and you anyhow from the beginning, just off knowing each other, and we've always been on socials. But it just never worked. We done one in figuring it out when we was in the old studio. I think it was the first year. We done Birdie's podcast with me, you, and him. I think we might have done it twice or once.
Yeah, we did it once with birdies, one still in Sheffield.
Yeah, once. So we've only had it twice where me and you've been in the same room with cameras on. This is the first time it is me and you. We're not in the same room, but we got cameras on. First and foremost, bro, I need to stop you for a second because the viewers, listen, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, you press the notification bell so you know when we're coming up with the latest episodes. More importantly, please like interact with us because I don't know what's good if you don't tell me. I want to work on myself. This whole thing is a self-work kind of podcast as well. Like, please comment, like. If you don't like it, let me know as well. Most importantly, I can't get better without feedback, and I'm all about feedback. So make sure you do that. But more importantly, get comfortable. This is a great conversation we're about to have here. This is a legendary conversation with two brothers them that have known each other for I want to say 15, maybe a bit more than 15. I'm trying to think.
It's been a
Maybe
long
about
time, bro.
it's maybe
You're one
about
of the few
14.
people that I've known for a very, very, very long time, and I've
Yeah.
always able to like stay locked in. I know people I've known for my whole life, and I don't even keep up with them, bro.
Yeah, bro, it gets like that. Like I've known you, I want to say 11, so that's 14 years we've come into it. And
Yes.
in those 14 in that 14-year period, it's crazy how life has transitioned to where we are today. And one of the main things we were going to be talking about anyhow was fatherhood.
Mm,
You know, we're both fathers now. We have sons, alhamdulillah. Allah has
mm.
blessed us with spouses and a son. The first question is, how are you, bro? And I mean generally, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, bro. Honestly, I'm good. Wallahi, I'm more than good. I'm content. I'm blessed. Highly favored. Highly moisturized. Alhamdulillah, wallah, I can't complain, man. I've got a beautiful setup at home, beautiful wife, beautiful son. Yeah, man, genuinely happy, happy. How about you? How about you, bro? How are you?
Bro, I'll be honest with you, I'm at peace and I'm very content. The question I asked you is something I always ask myself quite a lot.
Yeah.
Um, because ultimately, I don't know if it's about being happy. I just want to be at peace, and to be at
Mm,
peace is making sure I mind my business. I stay most moisturized.
what's me?
More importantly, I'm in the lane that I should be in. I should be, what's the word? Like focusing on me and obviously my
Mm,
family as well, but focusing on what I need to be doing as a man, as a husband, as a
mm,
father, as
mm,
someone that's a content creator now, and I find peace in that, and obviously staying close to the dean. So I'm peaceful and content. And one thing I've always said is as well, as you get older, you try pray your problems away. It's not
mm.
necessarily praying the problems away. I just want to be in a position or conditions where I can deal with my problems. That's like the one thing I would say, and so that's where I say I'm at. Obviously, life hits you, bro. Like I had a janaza the other week. There's a nakah the week before. There's a nakah next month. So you have these highlights and these moments of like pure joy and adulation, and then you have these moments of morbidness and just being sad and just recollecting. But alhamdulillah, I can't complain, bro. We're good. I think it's a privilege that we can sit here after years of knowing each other, and this is in itself is rizq. Like being able just to be on camera,
Yeah,
being able to have a microphone, have the kids in the bed
yeah.
and whatever. It took me a while to put my kid to bed, bro. He was
Oh,
mad one today because of the heat. It was his birthday today as well, so he was moving mad.
well,
Um,
little man,
yeah, look,
my
he turned 5, bro. He's out here chatting and just that's my guy, man. That's my guy, bro. Speaking on that, kids, we can get into it now. What is how did it feel becoming a father, bro?
it was, how can I say? It was a death of the ego. Death of the ego is the best way I can explain it, because I was even though when I got married, I still tried to, enjoy certain things and what I enjoyed doing at the time, going out, doing this, doing that. When my son was born, that was the almost, I wouldn't even like to say reincarnation. Something was brought out of me that I can't even explain. That just made me not care about a lot of stuff that I used to care about anymore, man. Like everything else was just like, it doesn't concern me. Everything was solely focused on my son. Do you know what I'm saying?
Did you feel like you became selfless? Was that like the word we'd use here, selfless? Is that
Yeah,
what kind of came across?
yeah, selfless, without a
And
shadow.
what was it? You just said something like you said death of an ego, death of a character.
Yeah, death of
You want to expand on
pride,
that a bit further?
death of pride, death of ego, death of a character that you almost grew up with, because there were a lot of situations I would have been like, nah, F this, man, I ain't doing that, man. You know what I'm saying? Certain things that you used to keep up with, or it turned from Ahmed the husband to Ahmed the father. And that was a change in itself that happened so naturally, that a lot of things, as I said, that you would naturally keep up with or even concern yourself with, it didn't concern me, and I couldn't keep up with it anymore, just naturally. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I completely. Yeah, I think like we're similar, so I kind of understand. I just like that term, the death of the ego, death of a character, because it is like me and you, for example, growing up, you spend a lot of your life being selfish in terms of how you move. It's all about you, and you pick and choose options that best satisfy you, which is
Exactly.
like men and women. It's just natural, bro. Do you get? You go out because you want to have fun. You get this job because you want to get paid and paid for whatever, and then you have this kid come out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere. You know where it came out of.
Exactly.
Um, like, but then this child comes and it's almost like everything that you done generally to a man does not matter. Like like not even close. Like you don't care about the freshest clothes no more. You don't care about nothing. Like that child itself, son or daughter, is like it's a feeling that's very difficult to describe. But I feel like you can tell for most people, because not everyone's going to be a good parent naturally, but
Yeah.
most people can see that it adds another layer to their character and sometimes takes over the bad parts of their character or the selfish parts of their character or the egotistical side of things.
Exactly.
Um, so that feeling is very difficult to describe, and I think both of us will say that. But that definitely the character is definitely one thing I think is across the board with all the men that our fathers that are within our circle of friends. There's a change. I think it happens in marriage sometimes. In like the first year, you have that depth of a character. Like when you get married, um, you tend to change a few things. You might become, some might say, more boring,
Mm,
uh, more reserved, more homebody, like being a bit of more of a homebody maybe. But I think when a child comes, that's when the dean becomes a lot more important for people. You start to see your life as finite instead of infinite. So we
mm,
have this thing when we're 21, 22 and we're lit, life is infinite. Next week is gonna come, tomorrow is going to come. When it's a child involved and there's that love and there's that you want to leave a legacy for them, or you want to build something for them in the future, your time is finite. Like now you're
mm.
not the main character of the story anymore. You're a side character. He is now
The main character.
the main character, bro. We're just here making sure that we build the bricks for him to walk
That,
through. Um, with that said, another question I'll ask, which is the flip side of it. Um, what are the struggles that you kind of have in marriage? I was going to say marriage, but with being a father, what are the things like? And it doesn't have to be super serious. Like there's some things that might just be like, for me, nappies was I always do the nappies, but that first explosion poo just wasn't something I was ready for, bro. And he started kicking it and he's squirming. I just wasn't prepared, you know.
I'll tell you this, bro. Yeah, being a husband is being easier than being a parent. But like just having a husband and wife, like me and my wife, it was a lot easier. My son came and it became a hurricane. Everything was so focused in. Some of the struggles I would say is you say goodbye to sleep. I haven't slept properly in about 2 years and a couple of months now.
Yeah, sleep is. You know what's mad? Me and you spoke about on the phone about sleeping. That I'm very lucky
Yeah.
that I spent 14 years doing shift work. So my
I
body clock
know people
waking up
have that, bro.
ain't that. You're the opposite. You was a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So that must have been a hard left, bro.
It was okay. Look, yeah, I'm usually between 6 and 7. I'm up on a normal day. Do you know what I'm saying? Since my son came around, it turned from anything from 5 a.m. till 7. And there's a difference in you wanting to wake up of your own will, and then there's a difference being forced to wake up. Being forced to wake up is one of the most painful things anyone can go through if it happens consistently for a good couple of years. But I used to sit there sometimes and be like, oh, like, am I actually okay? I've become a shell of a person that I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know what I like anymore because everything's so focused on this child surviving. That's something I did go through. And I do have moments of it here and there because, bro, when I say the death of ego and character, like some people knew me as Arms growing up. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just a nickname. It was the death of Arms, bro. Arms died. As soon as my son came around,
Listen,
Arms,
only Ahmed lives.
bro, you see the name right? You see this?
Ahmed, man, I said I wouldn't even put. I might, bro. Yeah, Arms is gone. That whole persona is gone. It's just Ahmed now from planet
Literally,
Earth.
wallah, literally gone. That's what I mean. I think, wallahi, bro. I think a lot of people don't. Maybe some fathers do go through it. Like men, we don't really speak about our struggles that we go through, and we might find bridges to kind of learn with each other if we speak about it. But some of the struggles is, bro, I forgot who I was for a period of time, bro. I don't know what I liked anymore. I didn't, you know me. I'm a bit of a recluse now, more than ever. Like way more. I was a bit more like before, but now way more than ever. I'm like a
Yeah,
mark.
you're an isolator, bro. You should be somewhere in Antarctica or Siberia,
Yeah, facts.
and you'd be comfy in Siberia, bro. You can be one up, no, or not one up, but you can be isolated, no problems.
No problem, bro. Like I've sometimes forcefully confined myself to fall because I just wanted to block out certain sounds. But some of the
Mm.
struggles, as I said, I went, wallahi, bro. I genuinely, sorry, I hope you don't mind the light. Um, I genuinely forgot who I was for a period of time, bro.
No, yeah, I think that's one of the problems. That you said something that's quite important as well. Is what would you call it again? You would say, how would I say this? We don't have avenues and platforms to speak about how we feel as fathers without feeling like if we let that out into the open, it's like the world will just swallow us whole. Because being a father, there's pressure already as a man. If you're a man that tends to have principles about you, tends to be a leader. So in our
Mm,
cases as fathers, we're naturally going to be the leaders of our household, or we're pushed into positions to be leaders. The pressure that you put yourself under is already enough. Then there's the pressure of raising a son and wanting to, or a daughter and wanting them to be the best they can, but you know how dark the world is.
super
So you're
dark.
trying to teach them, but also you're still growing as an individual. You have your own situations. Like even like now, I was talking about the janazah the other week. That was one of my ayayas that passed away who raised me. So and in that case, I always say with elders when they pass away, it's two things that pass away. They pass away. Obviously, the body's buried, but the other thing that's buried is a pillar of your childhood. So as these little parts of me are going away, and I'm fully formed into adulthood, and that kid's no more, I'm now also going towards my son and giving everything that I have left to him naturally. Do you get?
Mm,
And that's like one of the things that we don't have those platforms. We don't have those. Forget it, forget even platforms. We don't have the capability or the functions within ourselves to feel like we can do it, even if it was
mm,
there. It was there.
facts. Well, facts. I think if we like, as I said, speak about some of the, I wouldn't even say issues, some of the hurdles we come across on a day to day, being a husband, being a father, just even on some life stuff, like we'll be able to look around and be like, oh, because do you feel like you have a network of like friends or family that you could just be like, yo, just let me just kick game and tell you about X, Y, and Z, or vice versa? Because I'm not gonna lie, my son's 2 now. In these last 2 years, bro, I've had zero input. I haven't spent 24 hours away from my wife and son.
Say that last week. You said 24 hours or what?
I haven't spent 24 hours away from my wife and son in the last 2 years,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, you've been really locked in, bro. This is Ryan Giggs, Manchester United. You've been locked the hell in, bro. You ain't
Listen,
left that club. You've been locked in, my bro.
I've done it willingly as well, not because I have to, but because I
Yeah, you
actually
enjoy that. You enjoy that. I think you generally enjoy that. Again, it's peace in it. You find peace where you can. You generally enjoy that, just being with your wife and your child. And that's where your happiness is. And there's nothing wrong with that, because ultimately, as much as you say you're isolated, you also have the opportunities. Like me, if I come to London, me and you will step out. You got people you got
yeah,
friends, of course. Like, you get whether you choose to go out or not is obviously a different story, and that's up to you. But then you found peace within your son and your wife. So, Jimmy, I love that for you, number one. And anytime I need to call you, you answer the phone. So you ain't hiding from me. I
exactly,
know that for a fact.
exactly. But the
Um,
thing is that that's the question I had for you. Do you feel like you have a network of like friends or family and friends that you could of men that you could just speak to and be like, yo, let me just learn something from you,
yeah,
or let me
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
but I've been on that journey for a minute. I think I've been on this journey prior to even being no, prior to having a son. When I got married, bro, um, it was like the sense of peace and calm that I got from being married, and I was just really happy being married. And I started a football team with the guy, my little cousin's age group. But when I started that football team, I brought the guys in my age group because I just wanted to build that community feel. Because I've always, like in Southall, I've always been in and around the community. So with that, I just had that sense to bring people together or shout guys that I always try to lock in with my bridges. I've always done that naturally in it. So with that comes the fact that I have people that I'm constantly in communication with. And a lot of them, especially from my tighter circle, so the guys I grew up with, for example, are all fathers with kids, some with two, actually most of them with two or three, like one or two have one. Do you get it? Then there's people that I grew up with outside of Southwood I've known for years, for example, yourself, or like someone like Birdie I've known for like 9 years. So I have that if I just need to pull up and just go to the park, like I go to the park on Saturdays. But I've purposely built that because my brain's quite logical. It's like, you know what, for my kid, he needs to be around
mm,
what I was around. There
mm,
was an uncle and auntie in my house every other day. Do you get it? But I've come to my yard like my mom was like, by the way, this is your little cousin. We're not related, you know. This is your little cousin. Just let him play games with you. I've never seen. I want to show you the picture of the kid. I haven't seen him since. I know his mom, but I've not seen the kid since. But it's just I've grown up in that kind of house. I've gone to my bedroom and the man them are there sometimes just playing FIFA. Like I've grown up on that, and because of that, I want that for my kid. Like
mm,
I want to have the exact same community feel that I had. Like I didn't have isolation. Um, I was people. I had family all over me. I had friends all over. Like never had that. So yeah, but now I purposely built it just to kind of answer that question. I purposely built it during marriage because I think it's the healthiest way that I can be mentally happy, and also it just benefits my son knowing that he has immediate family, but then his father's friends are also his uncles. He's like Uncle Arms. Do you feel me? Uncle Ahmed, even Uncle. Like, do you get it?
mm. No, for sure. I think me and you definitely grew up on two different spectrums, bro. Two literal opposite ends. Because I was on some just naturally. It's just obviously I was raised by a single dad, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Dad, older sister, younger brother. That was it, bro.
yeah,
We didn't have family. We didn't have people at our house. Having people at our house was out of the norms. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like now trying to do that with my son is. I'm not gonna say it's difficult. I just haven't really had the opportunity to do that. So I do it in other ways. Do you know what I'm saying? So for example, he goes to like nursery 3 days a week. It's right next to our house. It's like a private one. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like very, very good in the sense of they do a lot with him. So that's what I'm trying to give him the social aspect for. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with that. Let me just pause for 1 second. You won't notice there was a pause. We done a lot. Technical difficulties, praying Maghrib,
Trust me.
changing devices. You guys won't know what happened behind the scenes, but we are back now. We're going to continue on with the conversation. What I will say is, obviously, we've been speaking about fatherhood. You obviously mentioned that you was raised by a single father. Both our fathers passed away. So for me, my father passed away just before I was born. I was born August 91. He passed away March 91. Your father passed away a couple of years back. Has that impacted you in regards to how you are as a father? Has that had any direct impact?
um, Ilan Harrison for both our fathers, firstly.
First of all, Ilan Harris to
Then
both the fathers. Then,
Allah grant them Jannah.
Ameen,
Um,
Ameen. May Allah widen their graves.
yeah, I mean, my father's parenting style was very different. If anyone knew my dad or was close to us growing up or seeing us, they'd all say, "Yeah, bro, your dad's like a man's man." Bro, he was militant, bro. There's no hugs and kisses and sit down and just conversate. It was straight tough love. Do you know what I'm saying? And I've naturally just kind of seen what I was missing growing up, and I've made sure I've applied that to my son already a million times over. Because obviously, that generation, just both of our generations are completely different. You know what I'm saying? We've grown up here most of our life, or all our life. Um, we've experienced different things
Yeah.
completely from what we've experienced. Obviously, they've had to deal with moving different country, learning a language, raising a family, all that. Do you know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, I've just chosen to do a complete different parenting style for my son. As I said, I implement a lot of things that I feel like I never got to have as a child. You know what I'm saying? My dad tried his best. Alhamdulillah, I turned out I turned out all right. I think. You know what I'm saying?
Now you turned out
But
decent, brother. You turned out decent, more than decent.
no, thank you, appreciate it. Well, he instilled a lot of he instilled a lot of toughness. Do you know what I'm saying? Even though some people might not agree with it, wallahi, that's the one thing I appreciate about him. I'll just give you an example, yeah. If me and my brother used to get into fight, yeah, I swear to God, there used to be times where he would just like dash us into like, go and fight, bro. We'll knock each other out. And we'll be swinging. We'll be swinging for dear life. And then boom, my dad would just grab up, shake hands. Or what he used to do, like sometimes to me, before I go to bed, he'll be like, bro, drop 20 press ups, bro. Drop 20 press ups so you're not going to sleep.
Real man. Real man. Man was in the
Wallahi,
trenches. Real man.
bro. But Atlanta had us to
Elan Hadith.
he left some gems with me for sure. Some things that I think obviously he tried his best. He was by himself. He was a man, innit?
Mm-mm.
Doing that by yourself as a man is unheard of. So when I used to tell people like, "Right, like my dad raised me," or people that knew, they used to be like, "Rotted, like, what do you mean your dad raised you?" I'm like, listen, obviously it's a single parent. It's just on the other end of the spectrum. Do you know what I'm saying? But how about yourself? How about yourself? What kind of obviously your dad passed away when you was a child, and then so
Yeah,
you
just
didn't
before I was
really
born. Yeah.
yeah just before you were born, so you didn't really get to kind of like experience what you've implemented fatherhood based on your own instincts. You know what I'm saying? Which I've got to
Yeah.
salute without a shadow of a doubt, bro.
No, I appreciate you. Come on, bro. I think it's I said it to you privately on the phone as well. I think it's obviously I was like in a position where this is my first time having a father-son relationship.
Mm.
So I've never had that, irrespective of, if someone has a good father, a bad father, absent, always there. I didn't have any of the above. So
Yeah.
for me, it was a case of having to learn most things that a man will teach you, learning how to fight or football matches and stuff like that on your own. But what I kind of have with this is I get to like have like double bonus points. I get to relive what I wish I had as a kid with my son. But ultimately as well, give it because my oldest is just like me. He's very much like man in it. So I get to give him because alhamdulillah I have quite a good memory. So from the age of 3 and 4, I remember quite a lot. So I try to give him the gems that I knew I knew I needed at that time. So a bit more
Mm.
discipline. Because like being raised with a mother, for example, you get a lot of love as a
Mm.
boy. The discipline part, they try, but it's very difficult with a boy, in my
Yeah.
opinion. In
Facts.
your case, you was raised by your father, so the discipline is there. But there's some things that you're going to give your son now that naturally your father just couldn't give as a man of that generation.
Mm.
That is just a fact of life. There's nothing good or bad about it. It's how the cookie crumbles, right?
Mm. Mm.
So for me, it's like it's kind of cool in a sense where like I'm with my son. I'm like, you know what, like going to the park, for example, like it's just nice. I never had that before. My mom used to try to take me when she can, but yeah, I mean, she's coming out from the from the civil war with my father passing away, my other sister passing away. She's pregnant with me, gave birth to me in Kenya, flying over to Tanzania, then get into this country. 92
Mm.
August. I was probably like one when I got here. So she can't do everything. The best thing
Mm.
she could do is, keep me firm upon the dean. Um, and more or less like make me happy, like let me be happy in life. But the discipline side is probably why I kind of err on more with my son because I didn't have that. And alhamdulillah, it worked out well for man because I'm quite strict within myself to a degree, a bit too strict.
Mm.
At times, I'm very hard on myself when I shouldn't be, and I start to learn as I'm older. Like, there's no need to criticize yourself as much as you do. And I think as men, well, men that I'm cool with, like yourself, and that we tend to criticize ourselves a lot more than we should. We don't give ourselves a pat on the back when we deserve it. But I kind of, yeah, like just being a father, son for the first time is just, bro, it's so goated. Like for me, that I just enjoy every step of it. And parenting style, like obviously I don't know my dad, but it's like I feel like I'm taking a lot more of what I've been told about how my father was. He was a teacher. He was in, University of Durham here in the 80s. So I've taken a lot of what he does. Like he done teaching, I done coaching. And my mom would say some of our personalities are quite similar, some of our traits, where he's a lot more cooler, where I'm a lot more hotter. But yeah, it's definitely like the impact of it. I can definitely feel it, but it's more of a positive impact now rather than a shadow that's been following me around in my late teens, especially. You know, what are like? What would you consider your parenting style as a father?
I'm the fun guy, man.
Yeah, good
I'm the
cop.
fun guy. Yeah, I'm the good cop, man. But the thing is, because as you said, like I've noticed already, like quite quickly, something I've already known, but seeing it live or in the flesh is different because a mum is always gonna love their child, especially a boy. Like obviously a boy, they're gonna love them. So the boy ends up taking the absolute piss with the mum.
Mm.
Whereas with me, he can only take the piss up until a certain extent. Where I would probably have to give him a look or walk towards him, and he'll be like, "Ah, say nothing." He'll kind of just give up. But he's a daddy's boy. I'll tell you that for free, man. He's a proper
Okay.
daddy's boy.
Okay.
He's a proper daddy's boy.
Good
I'm
cop.
the
Yeah, I hear it. To be fair, it kind of follows the conversation we had anyhow. I hear that.
Yeah,
Nice
I'm
of
the
you.
good cop for sure. And I keep trying to tell my missus, like, listen, even though he's 2, you've got to show him a little bit of like just being stern. Like, yo, like I put my foot down, like pack it in. Do you know what I'm saying? But she can't
Wind your
really
neck in.
wind your neck in. But
Wind
she
your
she
neck in.
she can't. Like he does it. Like I'll give you an example. Yeah, she must have said, "Stop! Like stop doing that. Lay down." And then as he's laying down, you know what he's doing? Wallahi, bro, he's staring at the ceiling. He's going, "Stop! Lay down." And I'm looking at my wife, and I'm just like, he's mocking you.
Yeah, all right, bro. These kids, bro. Do you find yourself ever trying to not laugh when you're trying to be like
100%.
brother,
Wallahi, it's the
brother? Like
funny.
some of the things he does. Like one time he was like having a tantrum, but the thing was his tantrum was so random. I'm just telling him to go sleep, but he's now annoyed about something that happened 2 days ago. Yeah, and it was something like his ball fell underneath the bed. It took us a while to get out of the bed because it's just long in one of the spare rooms, whatever. And then I'm saying, okay, Abba, time to go sleep. Let's go to the toilet. Then he went, Dad, one mitten. Not 1 minute, one mitten, please.
Yeah.
One mitten. I said, no, no, toilet now. He went, see, this is what I mean. You left the ball underneath the bed. I almost broke character because I'm the bad cop. Like I'm forever the disciplinarian, bro. Even when the youth them come around, my nephews and nieces, it's a case of hey, not too much craziness around here. Sit your ass down, let me and watch TV. I'm
What are
not
you
on
saying?
all this
What,
running around,
your Uncle Ruckus, yeah?
bro. Uncle Ruckus, without the self-hate, brother, there's no fun around, man. No fun. Even one of my little cousins, yeah, my little cousin. Bear in mind, she's unruly to the family. You see me, I would like the way the acoustics work in my mom's house is I can hear if the kitchen windows open and they're loud, I can hear them from the alleyway. So I can hear her causing a ruckus. Man, come to the yard. I take my time with the keys, just shaking it, and then so she knows it's me. Brother, silence. I walk in like Thanos. Do you get it? Silence. I walk in like Thanos because I'm an egotistical maniac. I walk in there. I said, "What's going on here? Let's have some parliamentary procedure." Bro, and since then I've been a disciplinarian. I don't mess around, bro. Even with the youth now, I had him now putting him to sleep the oldest, and I'm like, bro, I make him walk himself to the toilet, make him walk death row. He's walking to the toilet to the bedroom himself. So he knows he's putting himself to sleep. I'm not messing around with him, man. I'm definitely a lot more strict of a parent. But I don't know if it's my fear of this country we're in now that I want to give him that discipline. Because I think as men, for us to prosper, and I sound like Andrew Tate, but for us to prosper, like discipline is definitely an ingredient that's needed. Like I don't think the foundations can be set without a discipline or a structure or a schedule in place. And like we need it. When we don't have that, we fall into chaos. It's very hard to come out of chaos, man or woman. When you're in the midst of all of this mess, it's very difficult when the waters are muddied. But
Do you
I'm
know what?
definitely more of a bad cop.
I don't know where I heard this from. Don't quote me. I'm just going to tell you what it is. If you can figure out whether it's a hadith or from one of the companions, Allahu Ya'lam, yeah? It said there's 3 stages in raising a man. Yeah. yeah, from baby to a young man to a man. The first 7 years of his life, play with, like just keep playing. That's all they're gonna know. Just have fun. Play, 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 play. Build that bond, that connection, that trust. That's the first 7 years. Then from 7 to 14, teach them lessons. Keep teaching them lessons. The fun kind of maybe's got to stop just a little bit, but keep teaching them lesson after lesson after lesson. Just guide them, point them in the right direction. And then from 14 to 21, which is the last stage of the last 7 years, now implement these lessons that they've learned. And now you're on your path to raising a exemplary man, inshallah. And I'm definitely trying to follow that. In the first 7 years, I'm building this bond that is going to be unbreakable, inshallah. I want my son to, at any given time, I don't care if he's 40, 50, 60 years old, bro. Inshallah, we're still alive at that time. Phone me, bro. You
Inshallah.
need help with your family. You need help with your baby. You need help with advice. Call me. Like, I'm still here to listen and give you a hug, because I like with my dad. He was so militant. I couldn't really sit down and speak to him about a lot of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So even got to a point growing up, I used to be like, "Raj, do you even know me?" Like, there's certain things that I'm going through that I can't even sit down and talk to you, because you probably wouldn't even hear it. You know what I'm saying? But I want to be not the complete opposite, but implement certain things that I never had. As I said, I want my son to, when he can anyway,
Is it a
sit
sense of,
down.
is it a sense of healing for you? Not to cut you off, my bro. It's just like, you know what you're doing with your son now is obviously things that you, I think you said anyhow, like it's not what you had growing up. You had more of a disciplinarian. Is it like healing for you? Like, do you feel like you're healing, or there's an improvement within your level of happiness doing this as well?
Yeah,
Like your individual, I'm talking about not as a father, just as Ahmed.
100 million%. Because there's certain things that, just an example, on Eid day, like we never really used to do much on Eid. I'm not gonna lie to you. As I said, we was a bit like secluded, bro. Like, we
Yeah.
was one little bubble. So the most we'll do maybe on a nice Eid is go to some fake cousins' houses and stuff. So that we never saw again, as you said.
Yeah, literally. Oh, there's so many of them, bro.
Yeah, so now he's 2. We got into the habit of like Eid gifts. So we set up a whole this room was just full up of gifts for him. He woke up in the morning and I've never heard a happy scream like that in my life. And it gave me the joy, because I was just like, yeah, we're on a path of, like, as you said, just healing us as people, as parents, as adults, because we're now doing things for our children that we never had. You know what I'm saying?
I think also what I would say is as well, yeah, I think there has to be a period in your life, and this is for a man or a woman, where you have some sort of medium that allows you to heal. In our
Mm,
cases, it's probably our sons and our relationship with our son that allows us to heal. For me, like I said, is that first time having that father-son relationship. So just being able to talk more with this guy, just taking the football training is something that, for me, probably heals that little boy. Sound like Robin Van Persie, but just that little boy from that's healed or whatever. But there has to be something that helps you become whole, because I think
yeah.
we don't speak enough of how this world slowly chips away at you. It's
Mm,
not haymakers and uppercuts, it's slow jabs, and it's constant slow jabs. It's constant bad news. Or I feel that bad news at times, or it's constant level of average. You're never too high, never too low, and it eats at you after a while. There's something that needs, and alhamdulillah for us, Allah has blessed us with spouses and children that allow us to heal. That's what I would say. Do you feel like, how do I word this as well? Do you feel like outside of being a parent, you've enhanced as a person being a father?
it's definitely made me a better person. Like, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I would say something like that. I was trying to frame it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. I'm a lot more patient than I used to be. As an example, I saw one of my friends quite a few months ago that I haven't seen for a while, and the first thing he said to me was like, "Bro, you're calm. Like you're at a level of calm that I've never seen you at." And I was just like, "This is what comes with being a parent." You know what I'm saying? And he's just like, "It's good to see." Like, he was like, maybe I wasn't a bit too excited back in the day, but I definitely wasn't calm. Would I say? Like,
Would you like the other thing we can talk about as well? And by the way, I do agree with the fact that you are a lot calmer, or you're a lot more like you might even think you're isolated, but not really. Like you're more well between me and you, obviously, you're more active. Like me and you will chat on a regular basis, bro.
yeah, for sure,
And if
for
you look
sure.
at from the period of you being married to now, when I've been married, for example, it might have been a bit few and far between, just because life is life. But like, if you look at the like, especially since maybe around the time I started podcasting, which is like maybe around lockdown, maybe then, definitely a lot calmer and a lot less reclusive.
Yeah,
That's what I would
shout
say. Uh,
shout out to my wife. I think one of the biggest keys that me and you have learned is you actually have to be friends with your wife.
can we talk about that, please?
Yeah, for sure.
But your wife's not your op. I've been saying this in every TikTok live and episode. Your wife is your brethren, bro. Same way when
Yeah,
I have my people, them that are my friends, and I'm in a happy space, my wife naturally is gonna put me in that happy space. Just having a vibe, but she's not your op, bro. She's just meant to be somebody that, like marriage itself. I mean, we spoke about fatherhood. We really should be speaking about being a husband, brother. It's not marriage is not a start. It's not an end. For me, it's an extra layer, and of course, it's 50% of your dean, but it's an extra layer to who you are. It doesn't stop or start nothing, bro. It just adds more richness to your character. You know, it's like milk to the tea, what have you, or sugar or salt in food. It
mm,
adds more to what you already are, and the peace might come from your son, but it also comes from being in a stable marriage where there's
exactly,
communication. There's someone that
exactly.
you can like. It's just a vibe. Like for me personally, if I speak of my own situation, most of the days in my yard is just a fun day, bro. There's always something going on, especially when we're talking about with kids being involved. It's just a fun day, bro. I mean, like there's nothing not fun about it. Raising a kid, yes, it can be hard, but everything's hard. Like, like I don't know why. Like being a bum is hard. Being single is hard. Do you get it? Like everything is difficult if you make it, but marriage, for the most part, is quite straightforward if you take the little steps prior to it. Trying to work on yourself a little bit, moving correctly, not burning your
Mm,
face. And a lot of people, when I say burning your face, I don't think they understand what I mean. It's a case of not being out there for everybody, because you're not
mm.
meant to be for everybody. You're meant to be for yourself. If you have, like, for example, yeah, you might be reclusive, but brother, you know who you are. You've had
Yeah,
so much time.
I'm comfortable with myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know exactly who you are, but most people are so out there, they don't know who they are. By the time they get married, and the marriage really exposes how much of a bad person they can be because they're so selfish or they're so self-centered, it's a tough start. And then you want to bring kids into the world, is an even tougher road to happiness. So yeah, I think marriage itself, bro, like alhamdulillah, like shout out to the wives in them, man. They put us in a
No,
great position.
no, you know what, bro? Yeah, any anyone that's like not married or looking to be married, I will say honestly, wallahi, it is the easiest thing in the world. You're gonna have your days where you're gonna be tired. You're gonna have your days where you're not gonna be as proactive as you want to be. But wallahi, for the most part, it is so simple, easy. As long as you, as the man, want it to be. As long as you want it to be. If you want problems, you find problems, bro. Even for the women, wallah. If you want to
Bro,
find
listen,
problems,
if you armed, if you're looking for something, you'll find it.
exactly,
That's the
exactly,
reality. Wherever you're in life, if you're looking for something, you will end up finding it tenfold. If
exactly.
you want peace and your aim is to find peace, you'll find it. It might be a bit of a rockier road, but you'll find peace. If it's problems that you want, oh, that bus is an express bus that comes every 2 minutes. You know,
Exactly.
wallahi, if you really want problems, man or woman, wallahi, is coming every 2 minutes. The six is the express bus on the TFL, bro. Um, what I will ask you is another question I wanted to really ask you, and I wanted to ask you this earlier, but we've just been vibing, bro. Um, what is your do you think as parents we're in a better position now compared to our parents in the 90s, for example, or the early 2000s? And by that I don't mean a direct, like, are we better parents than them, but are we in better positions? So like the technology or like the school system or how our work life balances. What do you think about that? I would love to know your answer on that.
I think yes and no. Yes, in the sense of we're a lot more clued up on what we missed out on as kids and implement it in our children's lives. We're a bit more clued on about stuff about career paths and just like learning the system, learning the game here in this country. And being able to travel and stuff like that. And the reason why I say no at the same time is just from observation. I don't think there's as much of a community. Our generation's cooked. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like for example, do you speak as much Somali as you would like to at home with
No,
your
no, no,
children?
not as much. We do, but not as much as definitely not as much as I had when I was growing up, but not as much as I would or as my wife. Not it's not my decision. Like we need to do more, but we don't.
And I think when I did say that on the Up to podcast that time, bro, people are coming at me like I disassociated myself from Somali, like being Somali. Somali one.
You know how the
No,
clipping world is anyhow, bro.
I'm gonna say Somali one ko hadli kara. I know who I am. Do you know what I'm saying? Fluently, one ko hadli
Yeah.
kara Somali. But at the same time, we miss out on that part of teaching our kids, speaking to them, culture. I feel like we're gonna miss out on certain things. It's a different generation. I think, as I said, yes or no. What about you? What do you think?
For me, I would probably say, bro, we're in a better position to raise them, but what we've lost in the interim really is the culture and the language, but more importantly, the deen is
Mm,
diluted in some households. There's one thing someone said to me, a brother said, and it scared me. He heard it obviously off, I'm guessing, YouTube or TikTok or something. Someone was like, the Muslim household today looks like every other household.
mm,
Like if you go to a Muslim, like if you go to my household now today, you walk into my house, you go to my neighbor's house who's married as well, and they're like, I don't know, British black Christian, right? Like they're just completely opposite of us. The houses look the same.
mm,
It's just, nice little chairs, TV on the wall, media wall. You got the little greenery in the corner, very simplistic, very, very demure, as the women them say, very demure. And the conditions that we grew up in was everyone knows what it is to have a prayer mat in every corner of the house, the adhan clock in the middle of the hallway, um, a cabinet full of Qurans and half of them haven't been read. They're just there for literally aesthetics, bro. Do you get it?
mm,
Like
mm,
we grew up on that. We grew up on Deen. We grew up on that being. We were very separate to that, but because of this collusion of like Westernism and modernism, even we've lost that culture and that natural. Like all our mothers and fathers were all uniform. They all look the same. Their behaviors,
mm,
like how you spoke about your father, for example, was a lot of my friends' fathers naturally, right? Um, so yes, and the flip side of it is we got what you call it again? We have the work life balance, and we show, I would assume, in healthy marriages a lot of love visibly for the children, so their parents look like they're in love because
mm,
they actually are. Whereas when our parents got married, it's a cultural norm to get married. It's the next step in adulthood almost. A lot of our mothers got married at 17, 18, and the father was a little bit older. It's just a natural progression step. It has nothing to do with love. It's more to do with deen and culture. Whereas we get married to someone we was attracted to, and we built that over time, and then it was time to get married in most traditional cases. So yes, work life balance. We're able to parent our kids. Having said that, Dean wise in the average household, I'm not too sure how it's like, but there seems to be a dilution of Dean where you're getting, as we grow as a population of Muslims, very extreme levels of different types of what a Muslim looks like, and that's worse than anything else. So I feel like if it was a yes or no question, I'd probably have to say no because the Dean isn't there as much. Um, like it's just a strange thing. Is a strange thing to know that one day I'm going to be in the parents' evening, and the parents Somali might be alcoholics on road,
mm,
tattoos, and their child and
mm,
my child are in the same year.
mm.
Those. So when I think about that and I look far ahead to that, I'm like, yeah, we. I don't think we're in a better place. In
Do you
some parts,
know,
we are.
growing up, yeah, one thing I'll salute my dad for, Alan Harris,
Ilan Haristo.
he always showed me that he was praying, like my whole life. Like that's one thing I remember. Quran always playing in the house, him reading Quran, praying. One thing I've taken from him in the short life that my son's had now, the 2 years that he's been alive, he probably won't remember, but he sees me praying and my wife praying every single day.
MashaAllah.
And I see him sometimes. While I'm doing the sujood, he'll try to jump on my back, or he'll try to do somersaults off me and whatnot. But I want to give him the visual aspect of. I want him to at some point question what you're doing, so I can be like, oh, this whole time that you've been seeing me doing this, I'm praying to Ilahi, so he can learn from that. Because I'll never forget the day. I will never forget the day that my dad sat me down. He sat down, me, my brother, and my sister, and he was like, "Do you know who Ilahi is?" And we were like, "No." And he's like, "He created you." And the first question I asked him, I said, "So who made him?" Because I couldn't fathom what he was
Of
saying.
course, as a child, of course not.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, "He created you. He created the earth. He created this. Created that."
That's so cute. Wallah. I could imagine a kid's intuition like that, or
Yeah,
the
well,
intrigue. Yeah,
because I don't know why I remember this. This might sound crazy. Do you remember Chuckle Brothers?
yeah. To me, to you, yeah.
My dad was like, "Oh, Ilahi sits on his throne," and the first thing that I thought of, I was like, "So who bought his chair? Who bought his throne to him? How's he sitting on the chair? Who made him?" I was asking so many questions because I was a bit
Yeah,
intrigued. And it's something that just stuck with me all the way up now till I'm an adult. And actively, I made sure, Alhamdulillah, that I keep up my prayers. I try to do as much as I can. I could do better. Do you know what I'm saying? We could always do better.
yeah.
But,
Inshallah, we will do better as well. Inshallah, khair, bro. hundred
but the
percent.
one thing I want my son to see, even for my wife's sake, do you know what I'm saying? I wanted to see that I'm dedicated to this. Like right now, it's gonna sound mad, but look, it's right next to me, bro.
But it's
With
arms is so important of visual representation because kids don't just listen with their ears; they listen with their eyes.
exactly.
They're always watching. They're always like the ears are there, but they're always looking at what's going on. So just
Mm,
like you, I make sure I pray around my kid at all times. And I was talking about like work-life balance because of my work. I get to leave a bit early. He gets to see me pray Asr, sometimes Dhuhr, but mainly Asr, Maghrib, and Isha. So see me for three, you know, and sometimes Fajr in the winter. Like he might be able to catch me wakes up early, but he see me do majority of my prayers. So he will. I hope he sees that as the norm. That's not far fetched. So that's not alien to him. It's the norm. And I think those little tricks, like we're trying to give advice like the fathers, is the little details matter.
mm,
We can cut corners in our own life. We can cut corners at work. You can cut corners in maybe the shopping list when you want to go shops because you can't be asked to go to that aisle. You can cut corners in certain things. When it comes to how your kid interprets the deen, do not ever cut a corner. If you can, leave it, bro. Even if you don't pray, may Allah make it easy for you to pray. Just leave a prayer mat on the sofa, man, and inshallah you start praying, but just do that. Like leave a Quran on the cabinet. Like let them see the deen. Let the household feel like a house of Muslims as opposed to a house of what modernism looks like now, or
mm,
a modern couple or a halal boyfriend girlfriend. That's probably what that's like. Everything we could speak about today is just that side of it. And even with the culture as well, taking them back home, trying to speak in our case, trying to like I would say the language English and Somali in my household, it's 60-40. So 60 English, 40 Somali, which is not bad. It's not bad. He understands Somali, so it's not bad. It can be better, and we all do better. Um, that's what I would say. What I want to do, I'm gonna leave us on this one because this was a great conversation. One question I have left for you today. One advice. So you're at a stage with a microphone. All these fathers are present. It's a platform of just fathers. It's a barbecue. Let's just say the barbecue with the fathers. Them. What is one thing you would say passionately for them to do as fathers for their children?
mm. Anyone can be a parent. Not everyone becomes a father. I need people to understand, especially in the world of today, for young Muslim black boys, especially in a world where you're not really favored. Do you know what I'm saying? Because obviously this is a cruel world. I need, I would like every single father to be present in their son's life. Be with them every step of the way, whether they need you to a shoulder to cry on, whether it's little things, changing their nappies, feeding them, waking up with them, playing with them, listening to them, speaking to them. That's the advice that I have for all fathers. It's important, man. Allah is so important because fatherlessness is rife. It's so rife in every community, and you don't want to raise angry kids. Do you know what I'm saying? Or them questioning you by the time they get older and they look at you as now an adult and they start questioning who you are as a person. I need fathers to be present in their children's lives, whether it's a son or a daughter. They need you in different ways, but so many of the same ways at the same time. The advice that I literally want to give people is be there for your children. Wallahi, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not around your children. Yeah, you can go and live your life and go do this and have children with so many women or concern yourself with so many other things. But there's going to come a day where me and you spoke about it. It's going to be you're gonna look at yourself in the mirror and you're going to feel uncomfortable because you haven't done what you needed to do, and you have rights over your children. They have rights over you. You don't want to be at a point where it's too late. You're standing in front of Ilahi, and the people that you gave, your children are looking at you, pointing at you, saying that this person didn't guide me in the correct way. Man. We're Muslim at the end of the day. We know what time it is, and it's too much for me to try and unpack and put it into words, but I feel it here. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel it in my chest and I feel it in my brain. Pause, but just be there for your children, man. How about you? What would you say?
Bro, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I could say anything that will match that. I think that's the most. When we talk about the religion, we don't ever want to try to one up it. That
Mm,
was the best way we could leave the episode at, bro. Because I think you're right. I think you're so right with that. Wallahi, if there's one message you could scream at the audience or at the stage, it's that, bro.
like, be there because, bro, wallahi, we're living in a time where a lot of these children are growing up angry. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And questioning where their father is, their parents are. They're going to get to a point where they're going to be like, "Right, you didn't show me this. You didn't advise me on this. You didn't point me in the right direction." So just be there every step of the way and try to do the best you can for your children. Allah. We can all,
Sometimes being there's more than being present is half the battle sometimes, because just getting there to that stage is something. So no, that's beautiful, broski. I appreciate you every single time. You're not a guest, you're a friend of the show and a regular. Um, Please leave in the comments, people. Them like, what do you think about this episode? What questions do you have? We're happy to answer them. But more importantly, if you liked it, let us know. That's the main
yeah,
thing. Like, if you liked it, there's feedback, let us know. These are the kind of conversations we want to have, like real, authentic, organic conversations beneath the surface level. Arms, my bro, I appreciate you every single time. I'm going to leave you to it. I'm
my
just going to
brother.
probably do my little outro, let them know about, like, comment, subscribes. I'll leave you on it. I'll give you a call in a minute anyhow, bro. We'll catch up in a second.
Love my brother.
My family every single time, bro. Guys, that was the boy Arms. That's my brother. We've had a conversation here that I really hope that you guys are lending your ear. Well, I hope you lend us your ear so you can take it in. More importantly, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, press the notification bell. I'm not doing this for numbers and views. I'm doing this for quality over. Well, I'm doing this for quality over quantity. I want to have real conversations. So your support would mean the world to me, especially if it's someone one like. It's more than enough for me. I'll take 10 views, but please, if you could like, comment, subscribe. Every single one of you guys matter, and you're gonna help me push on this algorithm. Listen, this is Late Night with Evs. We're signing out. Peace and blessings.